we'll have to, because this is on the PC, so we'll have to um you'll have to join the farm, but then we'll also have to re-plow the ground and the field, and
Okay. Well,
I
yeah, that
did
makes sense.
I did take the trees out that we removed, but the bushes are back so for the first mowing, so and
Okay.
um
Pulse. Yeah. That here. Load. Yeah, actually, it wasn't painful as I thought it'd be. And trip. The track. All right. Got this.
there you are.
All right.
All right. I'm in your stream. All right. I'm going to buy 25 and 35, I think, unless you want something else. I was thinking those two are right next to the farm, and then
Oh, okay.
um
Oh, yeah. Okay.
and the reason why is because um so what I'm thinking was we had like $700,000, and
Yeah.
that would have been enough to buy one set of grape equipment, but we usually run at least two.
Yeah.
Because just the harvesting machine was
Let's see. You want to
y-
mow? You want to mow first or plow first or
yeah, mow first
um?
back here where the
Oh,
I
okay.
I tried to keep things very similar, that not everything's in the exact same spot, but
Okay. Well,
you
that's. It's been a while, so I kind of forgot where.
and then I couldn't find our tractors, so I had to go with these. But I figured it was maybe time
No,
to
that's
change
okay.
up anyways.
No, this is this is vintage. This is kind of like more. I mean, you guys didn't have. This is more.
Yeah, we had this one.
Oh, okay. Did you? I internet. But anyway, this is what this is
We had
partly what I
yeah, we had a
remember.
4030. We had one of these, and then I was thinking we had a different like a 4020, or I don't know what the other one would have been.
Oh, we had a 4020 and a
Maybe that's what we had.
kind of mower was man, but
Yeah.
pretty accurate, I guess.
Um.
I had something we're later on something of a I don't know if you want topics to talk about, and I kind of forgot about it. Maybe it'll pop into my head. I mean, one thing is um up on my second channel, I going through some old VHS tapes that I called back from folks that back the last time I went,
Yeah.
and I found I think the original source tape because it could be a bit better quality of our Children of the Mechanical God, the very first movie put together, or I put on the VHS. So I captured that, and then now I made a minor edit, and it, as in that I took out the intro that we kind of stole, well, did steal,
Yeah.
from Krusty. So it has our names on the intro, but then everything else is as it is, because I never had the original video up on YouTube. Well, I did one that I did a commentary over that I took out a bunch of stuff and had to kind of mess with the audio. So, oh geez, we
No.
letting me mow that.
You shouldn't, because we won't be able to.
Break it. Okay, well, I was expecting it to quit mowing, and I was gonna, because we have 36, right?
25 and 35.
Well, I thought we had where
We do. Yeah, we own 36. Yes, because
Oh, okay.
that's where we originally. That's originally what we bought. I just bought 25 and
Oh,
35.
okay. Well, I was gonna say 46. It was letting me mow. It didn't get where. But anyway, back to what I was getting at, or yes. So anyway, other than I took the intro out, I mean all the music's in there as it is. That's claimed, I guess you could. I don't care. But so I uploaded there, so I wanna relive the glory days, I guess, or see the original edit way we originally put it together, pretty much, without the in. The only thing is that the intro, because I didn't want to go and watch it. I guess. Now, I I I sort of shared it around, not really. It's there, but actually and I hadn't watched again, because I have the original. I have one of the. I don't have the original file on, but I have a file that I compressed original upload, and that never made it to you. So it's terrible. What I had at the time. So, uh, it's actually, when you think about it, and we were trying to emulate, Krusty Demons, or that's kind of what I was trying to emulate with some of the editing and the way I put it together. Some of the segments we had, it's it's actually not. I actually I actually kind of enjoy watching it more now than I kind of did back then. I mean, yeah, it's I don't want to say it's cringe, but like if you look at it, because it's a very much of a product of its time, but thinking about it, it's like, we made that just for ourselves. There was no YouTube, there was no thought of shit or showing anybody across the world, buddy.
Yeah.
Just like we're doing now. When you kind of think of it that way, it's like, yeah, we kind of put a bit of an effort into some of that. I mean, it makes me wish I had some more. I think I made a copy of off of whatever your camera had. I think I have that, so somewhere,
Yeah.
because there was, some of that was off of your camera, most of it was off of mine. There was a little. So anyway, I kind of put that up there, and I'm trying to think how to, we how we could watch it together and kind of stop it, tell like a live stream like we're doing, talk about, oh yeah, I remember that, and kind of tell the backstory. Might be a fun, maybe like a.
I'm sure there's some way with Discord you can do that.
Yeah, I know. I just
Or
haven't figured it. I haven't figured it out how we could kind of almost watch like a watch party.
Mhm.
Is kind of the is thinking about it, but yeah. Anyway, and well, anyway, that's the thing. Have all these other VHS tapes, and some of it, well, most of it, I wanted to go through and throw away the stuff, the tapes that have nothing significant on it. Just why are we? That's another. Kind of been slowly getting the stuff out of my parents' house that's mine, that's there for God 30 years. Well, yes, as long as I've been alive, but some of it I left for college, so 5 years
yeah,
or whatever, I mean, and just like, okay, do I need to keep this or not keep this? Like, it was VHS tapes. Like, we had stuff, like movies taped off TV. I mean, a lot of it was like movies taped off TV shows, or like stuff I taped off a satellite. If you believe that, you know,
yeah,
just garbage. A lot of it was just go in the trash stuff. But then I did find some tapes that, because like with our camera, and I taped over on the original tapes, but I did make copies of there before I taped them over. Tapes were expensive back.
yeah,
Didn't just didn't waste video tapes. Anyway, uh, and so some things I kind of uh some things I kind of thought I was lost. I had taped over it like, I'll never.
yeah,
I'll let you meet. But anyway, I found some other stuff relevant, so I put that up there. Found actually, well, you would be in it because Star City '95, some marching band stuff.
yeah.
I
I
got the
saw
whole.
you post
I got the
that again.
Yeah, I got the TV broadcast. I got home movie stuff that my mom took, and then there's some that somebody else must have took, and we made a copy of. But so yeah, you'd be in there. Well, and then there's like band concerts that era too that you'd be. Oh, show choir crap. Like we taped the whole concert, so I think got some of you in there of that. I know got definitely the later stuff. Yeah, but like I didn't realize I had that. Thought
yeah,
I knew I had all pretty much all the riding stuff, but it was anything else. Kind of, I got stuff going back to like 5th grade, because that's when we got the camera.
yeah,
So there's some of that stuff is not gonna make it public. Just things I thought I didn't. But also the thing is even some of those things taped off a TV. Um, some of them I did keep capture, and then I'll throw away the tape. But to capture some of the old commercials, those up, because that's kind of
oh yeah,
that's a thing. So
yeah,
our commercial. Oh yeah, the other this was that. Remember when we went to Freestyle in Denver? I got that broadcast, and I
oh yeah,
ripped it, or ripped it or captured it, I should say. So that'll eventually. I mean, this ain't anytime soon. That'll eventually make it up on there, but you know, because we're in some of the bumpers, you know, and the promo when they're like doing the pit, showing the pit party and stuff. Me and you are in the background. I mean, I remember trying to be in the background in some of that. And then there's some of us, you can find us in the crowd when they pan across and after somebody does some big trick, you know, like cheering and stuff. That was 2003, 2002 or 2003 exactly. I still have the uh pit pass. I have that refrigerator.
I I probably still have it. It's probably somewhere in my. I need to do the same thing. I've got like a room I need to just kind of go through and.
Well, and that's what started. Is actually this started about a year ago. I decided, you know, back for Christmas last year, and my mom had kind of cleaned some stuff up and found some boxes, put it all together. It's like I kind of went through it. You know, I mean, we had kept like art projects and things from like going back as far as like third grade and stuff. I mean, you know, I kind of looked at it. Some of them that I liked, I took pictures of them, but most of it just, well, really, what am I gonna? My, no, show it to my kids. They're gonna be like, okay, okay, that's neat. 8. That's about it, you know.
Yeah.
it, you know, and that's the thing. I looked at it for 5 minutes and like, oh yeah, I remember when I made that, and then it's kind of like, okay, that's it. So, you know, a lot of it just went through it. There's a few things like that sentimental value kind of, but I whittled a lot of stuff, and that's how going through tapes because we haven't had a car in years in the
Yeah.
house, so they're not gonna. And these things, it's like we like the movies and stuff we own on DVD. Plus, some of these were taped off a TV with commercial. Now, some of them were taped off of once we at like Showtime or whatever, so no commercial, unedited. But it's like it's on VHS, so perhaps it's not even the store bought copy. That's the thing. We didn't
Yeah.
have many store bought copies. Those were $20 a movie. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so a lot of it just trash. That some of them were like, I better look and scrub through and make sure. And that's another thing I found broadcast from NTV. Ralph Wall did a feature on him. Things. There was also like almost that whole broadcast. So there's all these old like Barney welcomes you kind of promos and stuff. So I think I'll get those put up on YouTube. There's like Bob Geiger and all those old people that
Yeah.
everybody knew back then. So that was kind of fun to watch. Other than that, there was a lot of like ag programming that my parents like taped off. Yes, and like satellite stuff. Kept. But yeah, I was been going through, and same with like going through like literally broken. Like I don't crash and boxing up the stuff. Definitely save for. I mean, I got
Yeah.
most of the stuff that, not all of them. I got all my micro machines out here. We occasionally, there's a few sets and stuff. They got to be a. But anyway, so it got most of that. It just mostly kind of slowly weeding through stuff because like, well, that's less that I have to go through when know, my parents do, you know,
Yeah.
eventually have to deal with that. But like, you know, I found like my cap and gown, stuff like that. Graduated. I'm kind of like, I have it here, and I'm like, do I really need that? You know, you know, I have my task on my that'll keep. There's just other things like that. It's like, do I really need to take a picture of it?
Yeah.
And, I mean, I didn't even really like our capping, our class color. Something I forget picked, but you know, as they liked. What was the you know it was though you know they were big at that. They picked those like a baby blue and not even like it should be red and white because we're the Cardinals, you know, right?
We picked my class picked maroon and silver, but not for what you'd think. We picked silver because it was like a beer can.
Oh,
And
but
then
anyway,
uh
uh,
and then I don't know why we picked maroon, but
there were some other things. I did find some magazine things that kind of neat. Picked it up, but then yeah, I you know some of my car magazines. I have all my motorcycle all my Cycle World, Trans World Motor, and I almost threw those away. But then I got to thinking, you know what? I really enjoyed, especially in my teen years and 20s, reading through my dad's old stuff. Well, I can keep kids might be fun to see all the articles about Jeremy Carmichael Stewart. They were in the
yeah.
and you know it kind of was. I have the magazines, you know, on the beginning and after Four Stroke Revolution. There were some, but like my car mag, got rid. I mean, I had box like you know, Hot Rod magazine from the '90s are probably not ever gonna. They're not gonna be worth like what the '50s. Not not even worth $10. You know,
Yeah.
worked in it. So those just same with my kept the stuff that had some significance. So that's how come the videotapes. I got still still a bunch to go through, capture, edit them, get them archived. There's there's I got some of the raw video too that I thought
Yeah.
I haven't posted it more publicly. I have posted classmates and stuff. Prom 99,000, which God, I had like 30 all my like 30 minutes of video. And it has pretty much everybody and stuff, so I shared that. That was because you know those parents take good never saw it. They just have whatever pictures. Like
Yeah.
you guys, your era, less. My mini stuff from college, I gotta find a company. I don't have an interface with standards Firewire way to capture,
Oh.
because there's stuff on there that I haven't watched probably ever. Like we filmed it, took it, filmed it, but watched it. Like I edited some. I captured it at one time, but then I don't know. Files, hard drive somewhere. I don't know. I don't. But like at the lodge, that weekend.
Yeah.
That's all on one of those tapes, and then like our Colorado trip, the raw. There's a lot I cut out when we made our second move. Shaky cam stuff that's just want short clip, crusty.
Yeah.
But I might maybe put. I don't. That's the thing. I can't even. Not even a good way to say, like, if I wanted to give everybody like you or somebody a copy. It's like, you know, DVDs aren't hardly even. And I did make you guys DVD.
I still have them.
Well, I do have mine.
I'd have occasionally pull them out and watch them.
Yeah, but this would be just raw, unedited stuff. Your sound. Well, that was the other thing. See, I did have some clips. That's right, and that was from Jeff's. Made a copy of stuff that he had, and it was hilarious. Well, on that Colorado trip when we were riding at Thunder Valley, I was like me and you, and we're out on the track, and Jeff was probably out on the track, and Joe, Joe had the camera, and I'm trying to think who else. It was kind of hilarious because he had the camera and he was like, "You buy 25? Oh, you said you bought."
Yeah.
Thought I was off. Anyway, Joe was filming, and we were out riding, and he was kind of filming us from afar, but then he was like, then there's all of a sudden kind of stops. He's like, "Oh, like where are they?" And he's like zooming in. Well, there was two women motocrossers, and they were sitting there talking and kind of like pointing off at the track, like studying it. And he's like, "Oh yeah," and he's like zooming in on their butts and stuff. And the commentary's like totally like just, I don't want to say creeper, but just like, oh yeah, it's all because he's so far away, it's doing the digital zoom thing, so it's like it's like pixelated, but because he's zoomed out, what he's on, but it's like all pixelated, but it's like kind of like hilarious. I mean, I was watching through it. I was like, and then I stopped. And it was like, "Hey, Katie, you gotta come see this." This is like rolling her eyes because he had to have been basically just all alone. He was in the camera. That's the thing. I must have like skipped over that part when I was go put some footage together.
Yeah.
I had kind of forgotten about that.
The one thing I remember about that trip was that we were all kind of, well, everybody but Jeff was back at the pit area,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden someone says, "Hey, where's Jeff?" And everybody just kind of looks to the huge crevice.
Oh, right.
We
Yeah.
don't see him. We
I
don't see
forgot
him
it.
anywhere
Yes,
on the
because they were.
track.
Yeah, because they were working on the where it, because this was before the National was there, so the track wasn't great, Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was that hole. It was like, don't fall. We were all like, don't fall in that hole, don't fall in that hole, when you come around that corner. And yep, that's where he was. Oh, I forgot about that part. Yeah. Well, and then of course I have that on video where we were doing there was that big jump, and Jeff ended up doing it because that one guy was doing it, following him in, and he kept casing it every time. Just that didn't quite have enough speed. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I ended up. He ended up. I can't remember where. He ended up being kind of sore when we were coming back, because I
Yeah,
ended up having to drive his vehicle back for him.
yeah. Well, I mean, we all kind of were. So, God, we rode for like all day. I
Was
mean,
it 2 or?
well,
I
2
remember
days, because
at
we went up
Berthoud
to
one day,
Berthoud. We went up to Berthoud
and
the first day, and then we went to Thunder Valley the next day.
yeah.
And we were there from when they opened till damn near when they closed. I don't know if it would be, say, 10 hours. We at least rode probably nonstop, not counting the breaks. 6 hours, or
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't an
we were typically used to doing that though.
Well, that's
When
the thing. Yeah, Jesse's, we stay in the pretty good shape at that time.
yeah,
To think about it. Yeah, I think. Well, I think that crash in that hole was. I don't think he like hurt himself, but he went over the bars or something.
no, he didn't go over the bars. He basically he went in and pinned himself. I remember it because he couldn't. When we got up there, he couldn't. We found him in the hole, and he couldn't move because the bike had him pinned to the
That's
sides,
right.
and
Yeah.
we had to go in and like pull his bike out and pull him out. I can't remember. I just remember that for some reason he was sore because I rode with him and he was dating Heather at that time.
Yeah. Well, and that's another
And,
funny part in the video is you or him or me, we're all trying to get Heather on video because she was like, covering her face and trying to get out of the camera.
but
That was kind of a running joke,
yeah, and I just remember like I can't remember if Jeff asked her if she would drive back or if he just asked me and she was upset that he didn't ask her. But he was hauling a trailer too, and that was the other part of it is.
Well, yeah, it was my trailer, the MGR trailer.
Oh yeah.
With our box, because he had his Explorer, and then me and Sean traded off driving his pickup, towing Joe's trailer with all the four-wheelers. Let's see, because what was it? Joe and Tanya were in the car behind us all. I forget who was in his Explorer, our trailer, and he.
It was
Sean,
it was just me, Jeff, and Heather in
so the
in
three
the
of you.
Explorer.
Yeah, that's right. Because Brooke and Sean and Andrea were in Sean's pickup, and me and Sean took driving his pickup. I mean, of course, I mean I drove it down and all.
Yeah.
And that was quite a trip. I really wished Derek would have gone. I mean, I know why, but wished he could have come. He really kind of missed. Because you know what? If you think about it, and I think I kind of knew time, but didn't want to believe it. But you know, kind of knew that was going to be kind of the last time we were gonna all ride together, like, or be able to do that all together. That big of a get together.
Yeah.
And it kind of was, because after that, either Jesse's local, or you know, like you, me, and Steven, we sang and ever all together, able to.
Yeah.
Meant like, because you know, yeah, we did that, but that was.
Speaking of that, so last weekend was the arena cross. This weekend, they brought the monster trucks in. I don't think I heard anything about any quad racing. And then the big, there was two, big attractions like Bigfoot used to be one of the big things when we used to do that.
Yeah.
They brought Dennis Anderson in from Gravedigger.
Huh.
But he's not driving Gravedigger. In fact, I don't even think he's driving a monster truck.
He's got to be pretty old by now.
He's driving. I think their big thing was like he's driving the truck that you get in, like you buy the rides in.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's driving that because they were just like, get a ride with Dennis Anderson and his, whatever monster truck it was. And then they the big truck that they brought was Shark Boy. I think it's Shark Boy. But it's been the last 2 weekends have been like brutally cold. Last weekend was like in the negatives.
Well,
this weekend would have been more like what we used to race in.
Yeah. Well, I remember that one race. Frigid. Well, then that was just me. Then there was like that out here. Well, that was Loveland, Kaiser Bench Center, arena cross where I was racing pit bike, and pits were under the stands. But you couldn't start or run the bikes under. It wasn't the station, so you had to go through this one little door to get outside to kind of warm your bikes up. But singled. And here you are trying to start your bike and warm it up.
Yeah.
Race, but yeah, but I remember that one quad race where.
Yeah. Well, to me, they were all brutally cold. Well, terribly cold is what I should say, because the weather right now has just been brutally cold.
It's actually quote warmed up to.
It's supposed to next. It's supposed to on Sunday. We've got like this weekend. The next few days are supposed to be the worst. Well, it's warmer than it was last weekend, but they're supposed to still be like cold, and then Sunday it's supposed to start warming up to 30s.
I guess I knew that arena cross was in town happening.
Yeah.
I follow the Nebraska page, Facebook, and shared it.
I had I keep thinking about, because this is the second year they've done it. I keep thinking about going to them, and I don't.
Well, as the kids are getting older here, we take them to trips. Just get a little, go to a real monster ball arena. I
Yeah,
Pepsi Center, but
exactly.
yeah,
Because what was funny was like I heard uh I heard advertisement for a concert, and it was like at the ball arena, and it's like, where the heck
where's
is the
that?
ball
Well,
arena at?
that's the
And
thing. I've been
I
I was so out of
googled it,
touch with
and I
just
was like, oh yeah,
yeah.
okay, I know what that is.
Well, that's the other thing is like I'd been so out of touch with even sports and stuff. I didn't realize the sponsor. People were saying that, and yeah, I was listening to like the Fox and they're like Journey or something, somebody like that. Maybe it wasn't, but gonna be at the ball arena. I'm like on a East Colfax, like the or something. I was like, I was like, where is this? And then I didn't realize it was ball as in ball metal container is the the sponsor. So anyway, yeah. But anyway, take them to well, and there's other more minor like Arnie.
Yeah,
They're still right now they're a little kiddish, but uh loud noises like that. Like we go to the KBPI car show and they actually liked watching drag races. We gotta be up on the like I want to be down there right where feel it hitch in your chest when the cars
yeah,
take off and all that stuff. But no, they can't handle that. That's why, well, maybe next year. Stimulation overload, like even night, uh, Chuck E. Cheese, like there's a round one bowling alley which is Dave and Buster type of Big Apple on steroids kind of thing. I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of intense, actually. Even dull. I mean, it like a and they like I kind of like just walk through it. Kind of games are in an arcade, and they can't. They don't want to. They like get halfway in there and they're at
yeah,
simulation. So that's why I gotta wait a little bit for that because the bus trucks, yeah, they're kind of loud and
yeah, yeah,
like the cars at the car show and stuff. It's different. I think just constant noise, but they have to go to bed. They can't be able to stay up for. But because some of the races start early enough, they can watch that, and they do. I I don't know that they're gonna be for heads like, but that'll happen late. Right now, it doesn't seem like they're quite interested. Like they're interested in fixing things and buildings, just the pure automotive. Of course, I guess they haven't really. I I had used it,
yeah,
but we'll see. Like you said, I rode when I was little, but then kind of didn't for a while. Had the go kart and all that, but I didn't always ride. I took a little bit of a hiatus there, and partly that was, and other thing. Just had it some
yeah,
until later. You know, we'll see. But anyway, yeah, so, I don't know if they'll be like crazy, which really I wasn't. 'Cause I guess even as a kid, I thought monster kind of, kind of, as far as a form of racing, kind of lame because they were so seemed like they were so fragile, especially in our day. A little bit different now, but so fragile and then so like impractical. Like like you
Well, I never really grasped the concept of racing them. When I was watching them, especially at like their age, it was all about the car crushing. Is what I really thought was cool.
see, and to me that was just kind of like, okay, yeah, you can go over a car, but it was kind of like these trucks are so big, yet like they probably even couldn't climb very well, or like they just, yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't, because again, back in our day, usually monster trucks were also paired with like tractor poles,
Well, yeah, exactly.
and
Because I can remember watching. I
I
remember
always,
watching the tractor pulls with them.
yeah, and I was always, I guess, say more intrigued or interested in tractor and then like the trucks too, truck pulling, because it seemed like there was skill, some, I guess, say, and at that age, it was like there was some more engineering, or because every tractor was a little different, to but the sled, they were all tasked to do the same thing. It's like, okay, this one is set up this way. This has 5 engines on it, or three, or this one has a jet engine, or this has a big hopped up diesel and whatever, and seeing how each type, how attacked a problem of pulling a sled a certain distance. I guess,
Yeah.
and I'm, what I'm talking about is, remember the old fairgrounds where they had the outdoor stands and that, and I can remember seeing stunt shows like, with cars where they were run them over a ramp and driving them on 2 wheels, or rolling them, even driving over a guy, jumping jumping a car. uh,
Yeah.
but to me, the monster trucks were just more like an exhibition. But like I said, they like look at videos of like the original Bigfoot stuff. It's like, yeah, I mean that was sane time, but also it was a very fragile vehicle. Like they broke axles just trying to crush cars.
Yeah.
Because they just hadn't figured it out yet. But that kind of, yeah, kind of wasn't.
The tractor pulling for me, like I could never wrap my head around it. Like I understand what's going on, that they're pulling weight, and then as they're moving along, the weight moves up the sled, and
Make it
all this
harder.
stuff. But I could never really like it. Just never really I could never really wrap my head around it. I think is probably the best way to describe it. I just like I understood, but I didn't, and it's just like never really could get into it.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like I was into it, but when they paired up, a lot of times they'd pair up some monster trucks with and then of course they'd have the tough truck stuff. I mean, there was a lot going on. Like,
Yeah,
um, I always enjoyed the, I guess the tractor pulling more because there was like the monster trucks were at that time were more of an exhibition. It really wasn't a competition. I like the tractor pulling part because it was more like a competition. This guy was able to go this far, doing this with this versus that guy or whatever. There was a little bit of anticipation to say, oh, okay, this one looks pretty cool. Is it actually gonna go that far? Can he? Because there were some tractors that were all fancy, it didn't do beans. Then there was these tractors that looked like they were built on a shoestring budget, and they were like, you know, go all out,
Yeah.
in the thing. I guess also it was a little less commercialized in the little more home, kind of like the demo. Like I haven't seen it in ages.
I
Got to thinking about
haven't been to them in a long time.
I mean, like the Holders one is always really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still is. I mean, thing, cars are some of that stuff's getting, you know.
Yeah, I haven't been to them, but I when I started getting out of what going to all those when they started kind of making a league around here, sort of like
Oh, so like an actual
um
series or
it, yeah, it's an actual series and it starts sometime this spring and they got all the not all of them, but they have like Wilcox, Holdridge, and Carney, and all are all kind of put together. And then at the end of the year, they have like this big championship bash that's like a 2 day thing. And I kind of got out of it then. You know, it's
so
like,
like there's some people that are like spending like real money.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, you always had Lampy, like actually put the most effort into it, but even he wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's another thing. Like, I'd have to. I'm sure there's some around here, but I thought about it. I was like, well, Holdridge one still half decent around that fair time. Trip back there, so I think something like that they'd enjoy because they kind of play Demolition Derby with their stuff, and they know what it is because like some of the
yeah.
watch that, and of course the cars move. Figure 8, cars 3. So
Well, and I think I haven't been to Carney's in a while yet. Um, I think that was another reason I got out of them was because, um, that's in the middle of summer, and Holders, for some reason, like I don't ever felt like was very hot, but I can
yeah, well,
remember being in that Buffalo County Events Center or whatever it was called, the Expo Center, and just the
oh
heat
yeah,
was
you just
just.
baking in there. Yeah.
But now they moved it. Um, Now they don't hold it indoors anymore. They have a little arena to the north, and that's where they have it. I was supposed to go to it last year. One of my friends wanted me to go, but I can't remember why I didn't go.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like some of that stuff we used to go to, like kind of fizzled out. It's like we just we just happened to get lucky, and we did a lot of this stuff when it was just at its peak. But sometimes I wonder that.
Well, well, not only that, but like not just stuff we did, but like I think about like the FMX because they used to be so big, you know, and now I couldn't even tell you who's in it anymore or
Well,
what they're doing for tricks or
I think a lot of that the internet sort of killed that because you don't need to get on ESP, get your name, show your tricks, show your stuff, show your skills. You can just make a YouTube, now a TikTok, reel, or a Vine back in the day on Twitter, and Like I recently watched a video, Travis out just gonna have like both knees replaced, and he like my last chance to like try this trick. He built this ramp where he backflip on and then front flip off, like he hits front wheel just right on this ramp that's high up air on like a scissor lift, and front flips back off onto a airbag. But just to proof of, well, and he's doing it just to proof of concepts. Like, here, guys, I'm going to prove that you can at least do this. Now, somebody else go out there and perfect it and actually land it to dirt ramp. Is kind of what he's doing. But he's like, I'm going to have these knees replaced, and I'm just not going to be able to try tricks like this after that happens. Because he's younger than us, but not much younger. I think he just turns, I think.
So, I was going to kind of bring this up tonight. I was kind of going to bring this up tonight. He posted not shortly, like maybe a week after that video you're talking about, because I remember seeing that. He posted, this was 25 years when he took his bike and after the competition and jumped it into the surfaces. Yeah, jumped it into the bay.
Yeah, he was 15, did that, I think, or something like that. Might have been maybe 16, maybe just.
If he's 40, then it would have been 15.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, yeah, that was in Rusty. Yeah, no, and kind of got in trouble for that, but I mean, it just put him on the map by doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, it's like, yeah, you're right. I don't know who anymore, And look at Deegan's a businessman, and yeah, he's and still anybody, but he's he's old, pretty broken.
Well, and he's more like he's more focusing on more so his son, but
well, that's what I mean.
He's focusing on their careers, not he kind of
right. He's
kind of
just
stepped away from his and was working on theirs.
Yeah, I mean I don't totally compare him. His personality is nuts, but I mean he's Tony Alessi now. He's focused on in his kid's career. Except for Deeg has some. Well, yeah. I guess people would argue, but anyway,
he's got the same he's got the same PR machine going for the kids as he had for him.
Yeah, but that's because he was. I mean that whole Metal Militia and Travis the good guy, I'm the bad guy, or we're the bad guy. Was like an act. Like,
yeah,
like I mean, I think we kind of knew, but you kind of didn't want to believe that. They were maybe not friends, but they like knew each of them were playing a part, and it was just elevating each one of them. Travis would be squeaky clean A student, and Deeg would be the kid in detention. That it helped them both,
Yeah.
Like they had almost a fake. They had almost a fake rivalry.
Yeah.
Kind of going, but just genius on probably more his part than Travis, because I think Travis would have done it anyway, been the way he was anyway.
Well, I don't think the way Travis's personality was, I was like, I don't think it really mattered who you were. It's like you just got to show up that day, and if you show me up, then it's like, okay, you were better than me, but next time I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna figure out how to beat you. I'm gonna go home and figure this out some way I'm gonna figure out how I can come back and beat you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's crazy to think, he got to see that happen in real, and I guess, I when I think about it, like Travis is kind of like got our generation's Malcolm's. That was my dad's the rider, that just did everything and did it pretty much the best, um for the beginnings of motorcycling and done on a motorcycle. Travis was ours because again he could race, and granted, if he focused on racing, he'd been great, but he wanted to just try a little everything, and he excelled at just about everything. Maybe not always win it, but he definitely hang, you know.
Yeah.
And even when he went into rally, I mean, no, he world championship. Considering, let's think of him as a moto guy, he could drive,
Yeah.
do it. He could do it. It does make me think
Yeah.
about some of those other guys from that era. Like, don't hear about them. Like, what did they end up? Where did they end up? Like Mike Metzger, Mike Jones, or where did they end up?
Yeah.
Because I mean, while they had some of their moments in the sun, they just they couldn't. They almost couldn't. It's like they couldn't keep up, or they didn't know how to. It's kind of like
Yeah.
in skates. That's also. I'm kind of speaking of that. I saw a thing on. Oh God, I think it was on Ari group. Somebody posted, and I think it was Photoshop, but it was Tony Hawk holding out a skateboard, and it had all these uh, geriatric type supplements that like he was sponsored by. I mean, it didn't have Centrum Silver on there, but I mean, it was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that really kind of hit a little bit differently. Well,
Um
hell, I think they even put an AARP sticker on his board. That's why I think it was photoshopped.
um speaking of well, I guess it would be more new. But like it was kind of I'm kind of wondering if Jet Lawrence isn't kind of like McGrath used to be, except for like maybe not. I don't know. McGrath had talent,
Well, his was
but
McGrath
like
was almost all talent because
yeah,
he didn't train a lot, but see, none of the other
no,
guys were training either.
that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if Judd isn't more like kind of like a cross between Jeff and Ricky, where he's got the talent, but he's also, because of the way things are in this day and age, he has the training and the
Training, yeah.
discipline.
I mean, yeah, I mean you know it, but it's like, I mean, I mean, Ricky had not the raw talent. He just figured out, that's how I'm going to
Yeah,
have to be. And that's the other thing, when I think about it, even going back to Cannons, that's kind of the reason he was as good as was, because I didn't train like Ricky, but like he just tried all the time. For the other guys, kind of they practice and that was it. Like Bob Hanna, yeah, I'd go ride tracks, but I'd just go out in the desert and just ride for hours and hours and learn to read terrain. Because
Yeah.
back in that day, guys were just trying to even make the obstacle. Bikes were underdeveloped. That's what's amazing about him. I mean, I know he's kind of polarized, definitely cocky, but yeah, that's the one thing about Carmichael. He didn't come from a moto family, and train, and that he got first one to really hire a train, diet, guys. That's yeah, that's took to beat Raph.
Well, and not only that, but to stay on top
Yeah,
for as long as he did.
yeah, because everybody else figured out his secret. Well, they started. Yeah, now, and that's the other thing about modern cross supercross. Now the formula set, like it's got to do, and I guess I kind of like it because now it is a little bit more like, well, gonna win it. Can't just gonna be just one. It's gonna be one of three guys. It could be 10 guys.
Yeah,
But
it is, but at
Jet's
the
the only
same
one
time,
that's standing
at
out just
this
because of you know.
at the same time, I think like there's a couple. I think there's a couple of guys that are kind of you can tell they're at the end of their they're at the end of their run, you know,
Yeah,
but they don't want to they don't necessarily want to accept it. It's they're
I hate to say it, I think Roxon is kind of one, and
oh right.
he's got a
I-
well,
yes and no, but I'm speaking more of like Cooper Webb.
yeah, he had his yeah. I I really like Cooper, and I'd like to see him keep winning some races in the hunt for a title. But I think you're right. I think his I think the
He's
time
either
and chance is so narrow days because of everybody's just so good that you can't get it done in that first 3 years. Go pro. I mean, I really like Tomac. Would love to see him win another championship. And this injury, but I just feel like he's almost the old man, and he's not an old man.
yeah
Almost another old man.
yeah. Well, that's it. Maybe I think Cooper is kind of he's older, but that's another thing is he's had, especially I think the injuries last year just kind of really set him back.
Yeah. That's
And
another deal. Have to go so hard, and they take themselves out because just know if they don't push every time they're on that bike.
well, that's the thing. They have to go. They have to be so perfect every lap. In they're just one minor slip up, and then they end up breaking something in their body. And I unfortunately didn't get to watch last weekend's race. For some reason, it didn't tape, but I know it was a mud race.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually it was pretty good. Mud races are always kind of an upset type of deal. Oh yeah, I did get money.
Yeah, I picked
Actually I
mine
did
where I
well.
left
I
it.
did well because my picks rolled over. I forgot, but actually it worked out well. That's how I sort of up by chance.
I didn't do so well because the batteries kind of messed things up, but that's okay. I can believe I did as well as I did the first race, anyways.
Yeah. Well, of course that one I almost never know.
No, you don't. That's why I was shocked when I saw that I was like in 2000 some spot. Is like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna check to make sure that this weekend's. I don't know. Maybe last weekend was on a different network because my TV should be set up so it automatically just does it.
Well, if you're watching on TV, it's always switched down, but it's always live on Peacock, the app, and
Oh.
streamings, and then they
Yeah,
replay it. It
I,
should be on
I dropped.
NBC, but it might switch to NBC Sports or something. That's the thing. They want you to just buy the app, which is $5.
Yeah,
But
no, I had it last motocross season, but I didn't know they were gonna keep it on there, so I had dropped them for the spring, and I was gonna
yeah,
pick them up again this fall. Or I mean this summer. Well, and that's if I want to watch the Olympics, that's how I'll have to watch it too. So
but their races are archived, so if you start it up, you
that's that's true.
can just because it's at a convenient.
Yeah,
But
I don't like to because sometimes, man, sometimes they go into like 11 midnight, you know. Um, and then the other thing is, I'm like, I very much like to um skip parts. Like, I don't like watching the LCQs
yeah,
for the most
well,
part.
that's why you can watch the archive and then fast forward, and we've done that too. Yeah, fast. Well, yeah, we a lot of times other things on the LCQ, all that stuff are happening.
Unless there's like, a bunch of good riders that got kicked into the LCQs, and there's only going to be two of them, and it's going to be a good race. I really don't care about the LCQs, or if there's like a wreck, but you never know if there's going to be a wreck that you want to see until after it's already happened.
Actually, and it's on YouTube and easy. I've been now, granted, they don't upload them 6 months after the the events, but it doesn't matter. But it's a channel called X Trial. The channel's called X Trial, and what it is um, they upload each round of this is a European series, but it's indoor trials, and it's a format. It's pretty
Uh,
entertaining because best they take like the best 12 like trials riders in the world, and they have these just insane sections built inside. Obstacles they gotta hop across them. It's in a way it's almost like they ride the section like the floor is lava,
yeah,
kind of deal. And and then they eliminate it down to 3 for final, and they win points towards the end of the series. And like it goes to like 10 different cities all over Europe. But there's within each round there's 3 rounds to eliminate it down to final. So they have all these sections. Some of them they have to ride all 5 sections in 5 minutes, one direction. Next round, it's after that kind of eliminates people, and they ride the same 5 sections only backwards, and they have 5 minutes to ride all. Then it gets to like semifinals, so they ride each section individually, and they get a minute to go back and forth. And then they always have 1 or 2 sections they haven't rode for like down to the top 3. And it's pretty entertaining to watch how they manage. Okay, I'm gonna put my down here, but I'll still be ahead, and kind of like golf. They one guy's like strokes up on you, got a wiggle room. Well, you're not very good at it.
Yeah.
But it's on YouTube, so you subscribe to it. Right now, they're uploading. So the competition happened back in the summer. Now, it's interesting, the names and the ages. The top guy who's like won 17 last 17 years, he's 38 or out, still winning. But like the next kid that is obviously going to be taking probably his spot is one of the best, is like 17. So kind of interesting to watch a different type of.
Yeah.
And it's and also the commentator, and because it's always in these countries they don't always speak English, but the commentator, just interesting to see how they put on production there, and just sort of this. Well, and also it's all in stuff, so the sponsors it's just very different.
Well, I've never watched this series before, but I remember seeing clips from them. It's got to be what the one you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a couple of kind of clips, the actual edition, and they have stuff posted back to like this series extra. I don't know. I want to say it's always been in Europe, so unless you were like Jesse, who subscribed to magazines and stuff, you couldn't even.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know it existed late 2000 because of the. But it's first trials just isn't a thing here, but it's something that like totally, because these are like arenas kind of like like the fit in hockey stick.
Yeah.
You don't need that much room, like totally a thing, even if the riders aren't have tamer sections that still be entered. Again, it's kind of like, in a way, like watching golf, but only a little more exciting because it's a little faster. that there just probably isn't an average people know to go. Guys still don't even files. You want to be a really good general writer, I'd try. You know, that's one thing I learned. Lends itself to all different kinds of venues because that much room.
Yeah.
And it's not very destructive, very loud, and same with like the exhaust. Not smelly for faces. That's the thing. Going back to the tractor pulling, kind of got on a kick for a little bit there, watching like compilations of tractor pulling, where they blow their engines, break stuff, And I was seeing footage from some of these indoor events. Yeah, they have these elaborate, because these tractors they're burning, diesel and alcohol and water injection, and just belching smoke when they're inside. But then they have these indoor ones, this elaborate, basically smoke sucker hood thing that comes out and over the exhaust pipe so they can dry, and then they're dragging this, sled is dragging this pipe behind it, exhausting, taking care of the exhaust, also they can do it inside, something like that, like trials, well, and but less, it'd be easy to put in just about any. But it was kind of like that ice racing. Like, yeah, there was a bunch of people there, but most there they didn't even,
Yeah.
like, because that is so.
It was kind of like, I mean, roller derby was the same thing around here. It's like people would go to it and stuff, or I mean, they they got a pretty decent crowd, I thought, but and they kept trying to form a club around here, and I think they finally had to give that up, and like the ones around here that really wanted to do it, they traveled to Lincoln.
I mean,
And then never.
I remember
I
that
think
back in the day. Actually, I remember even it on TV. And well, actually, VHS tapes. I ran across one where I had recorded, or for some reason recorded. Yeah, it was like roller. Yeah, it was Roller Jam. That was on.
I remember watching Roller
Yeah,
Jam.
Roller Jam. Yeah, it was on like CNN or whatever. And yeah, I have. Maybe I was gonna throw that. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe if I hadn't thrown away, I should upload that just because. But I was sitting there as I was scrubbing through. I stopped and watched it for about 10 minutes. Like, oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, Roller Jam. But yeah, it's like that's a sport like it's so kind of convoluted, like how you score. It's almost watching them run into each other.
Well, the roller derby actually it's not too hard to figure out how they score and stuff. It's just I don't know if it's just you need a bigger city so that you have enough people to go to it, or if it's just you need a bigger city because you need to have enough people to actually do it. Because they wanted to start one around here, and so some of the teams were made up of people that were all the way out from like Fort Collins I don't know how far east they came from, like just they weren't on their normal teams. They set up this kind of like they had to call them like an exhibition team because they weren't really. They had a mixture of talent and stuff, so it couldn't be really called a all-star team. But um, yeah, they were trying to put on an exhibition, and they did it like 2 or 3 times. I think a couple times because they were trying to get they wanted to get a club going around here, and I think they did, and I think they did finally get the club, and then they tried to get people to show up for the local stuff, and no one would do it. So they finally had to. I think they had to settle for like, well, we're gonna do this with Lincoln or something like that.
I think the hard thing, roller derby, is kind of run, as I understand, kind of run somewhat like can be run some boxing. You know, the I guess the matches, or whatever. I mean, are they're set up like, oh well, we're gonna play these two, make a good. Not like it's fixed or anything, like anybody, whatever. But it's like it's not like football or basketball where it's matched up and bracket style for finals. Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
like a club, so it's just like, well, let's kind of set it up so it'll be entertaining. Okay, well, these people are about evenly matched, so here and then.
Well, and the other thing is like I don't think they kind of understood this, or maybe they did, and they just but they like they gotta think about like well when they did the exhibitions with these people from out of town and stuff, like they promoted the heck out of that, and then when they do the local club stuff, they just expect people to show up for it, and they don't really promote it very well.
Well, and that's like the people trying to promote dumb or don't have enough reason. Right? But it just seems like something like that. Yeah, you're gonna have to have some TV radio ad, but you know, get people to follow the league or the club or whatever. How most people find out about things these days is some form of. But I mean, look at talked about this before. It's like us doing this. It's like want to take this kind of thing to the next level, anything to the next level. You got to be always, always on things, comments, and content that terrible, and yeah, then people will be, oh well. But also, I think with roller derby does have a somewhat uh trailer trash, white trash, redneck kind of connotations. So you're not gonna get highbrow people that are gonna
Yeah.
be wanting to and then tickets are much to take the whole family and kids, then can class people can't afford to watch. Tickets are pretty cheap. Like if it's not like $10 for adults and 5 for kids, that might be much. Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about, like, gotta you gotta have a reason, like you said, a reason for come to it, or by making a name for itself, like really like again, like the hockey game. Gotta make sure it's gonna be be able to bring in.
Well, the
And
hockey
hockey
thing,
has a
that's
leg
not.
up because it's more mainstream. Little more
Yeah,
main, little more main.
yeah, yeah, but that isn't even necessarily doing the greatest. I think we're always on pins and needles. The fans are always on pins and needles about whether you were just waiting for them to yank the rug on us and move the team.
But that's, again, fans don't show up. They're gonna go where the money is.
Yeah.
Again, going because they choose food and gas and all hockey game. Go. But blame their fans, but then try and see.
You
That's
know,
what
you wanna know I- what's kind of weird about this league, this junior league. So Omaha is obviously a bigger town and everything, but uh, they actually, because they have the college team, Division One, that's actually a pretty good team. Um, People don't really go to the junior. Their juniors team struggles just about as bad, if not they actually worse because I think they almost went defunct. Um, was that was almost 2 years ago now. Right in the middle of the season, they had a problem with ownership, and then the problem with the players, where the league had to step in and take over the team to get them through the season. It was quite an ordeal. But it was like, but yeah, Omaha struggles with it worse, maybe even worse than the one here, just because they have other things they can go watch or do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's.
But then like, Lincoln has no problem. But then again, they don't have all they really have is basketball, or college basketball or something to compete against. And this is the first year in a long time that the college basketball team, the men's team, has actually been any good. The women's team has been good for several years, but
Well, I always thought though pretty good. It just they don't know press that.
uh, yeah, they're even more so. Like, was it maybe they're 3 or 4 years removed from that now? But they actually, I think it was the Final Four they made it into, which is really big for not something you'd normally expect from around here. But yeah, Lincoln doesn't have any issues with it. The two other state teams, or the junior teams, struggle. I don't know. I would miss it if it does ever go, but I also realize that one of these days it may not be here anymore.
Well, I'm surprised it stuck around as it has because you kind of started again back when we high school.
No, I was in college. I was out of
Was
college
you
when
out of
they
college?
built
Okay,
it.
was it that late? See, couldn't quite
Yeah,
remember. So yeah, but anyway, we went to some of the first kind of
I was at the first game that they
yeah,
had there.
or in
Because
other
in
their first event, in their first kind of events they had there.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw
The
Bob
answer scene
Dylan there. We
was
went to Loverboy and Eddie Money, and
that was a fluke deal we went.
yeah.
Cause
Actually, I still have fond memories of because and here's the thing: it's not like I wanted to go, but James was all about it, and like it's a concert.
he had the tickets. He gave us the tickets for free because someone else was supposed to go with them and they didn't.
But it it well, and it's like I saw Foghat out here. It was kind of like saying that because it was all old people, but I know there's, but that's one of those things I will always remember, because it was kind of random because I wouldn't have just gone otherwise if I hadn't had somebody like him say, "Oh, I got some tickets," and turned out it was a pretty good time. And actually the Bob Dylan deal it's because he got some tickets. Sure, no, I mean I knew how Bob Dylan was, and I wasn't like a fan necessarily, but it was an experience. I'll just say that. It was quite the experience. I think go to because there. Or maybe
I don't
think.
Are you thinking of when we went to Omaha for Godsmack?
No. I'm thinking at the arena there. With Swanee we went. It seems like it's one of those deals where when we're off their tops, and I remember that it got other times too, but I swear there was some concert we think of it. I want to think it was a more at the time current band. Maybe they weren't big, but yeah, I don't remember. Ninefall, because that was at Maxwell.
No, that wasn't at Maxwell's. That was at the Boxcar.
Or Boxcar, that's right. That's right.
Because Maxwell's was where we ran into that. Maxwell's was where we ran into that band that was like, they were touring, but they were like they were supposed to. I don't know. I got the feeling like supposedly they were making it big, but they were like.
Who was it? Who was that one band at Maxwell? I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was. I think it was called Slur, if I remember right.
Yes, it was. Yes. Well, because I have the CD. I just couldn't remember. You made me a CD.
That's got the CD.
I mean, you ripped it.
I for me, but because I got the CD.
Okay, it was Slur. That is right.
That was the night that I got. That was the night that I started the what little crowd they had. Well, at a bar, at a little bar in the hotel. I started a mosh pit.
Yeah. Okay, Slur.
I think that was also the night that we were sitting at a bar and some guy was trying to hit on a gal and she threw her drink and he missed him and it hit us.
I don't know if I remember that. I do remember some incident, but
I remember that because I was like, I remember like, oh my god, like now I'm gonna smell like alcohol.
Yeah. We saw a lot. We saw a lot of things.
That was also the night that I think we were, I think we were mad at Jeff for not going out with us. And so when we got done, we called him at like
Oh, did
12:30
we
in the
tell him to
morning
come to
to come.
Perkins or something? Because we went to Perkins after.
No. That was a different night.
Oh,
This
what? Okay, okay.
we called him.
Yeah.
Hold on, just let's finish this one. So
Okay.
we called him, and no one was. Him and like Heather went to sleep, and so the only person we get a hold of was Holly. Holly
Right.
drove down there in the Mustang to come pick us up, take us back
Yeah.
to my apartment.
Yeah.
No, the night about Perkins, that was when I was working at the liquor
Okay,
store
no.
then.
What did we do? Because remember, he was so drunk he couldn't. He says, "You know, we have pictures. Can you just point to what you want?"
Okay.
What night was that?
That was the night he was so drunk he called me at the liquor store to ask me to come get him because he went to the bathroom and locked himself into the stall and couldn't figure out how to get out.
That's right. Let's see who else was with him. Yeah, that's right. Because we were eating there.
It was
and then,
Sean.
Yeah, Sean. That's right. God, what were we doing? Because that's right. Me and Sean were sitting there. He went to the bathroom. Me and Sean were just talking, and then that's the thing. We didn't realize he'd been gone for so long. And that's the thing. It's just like the motocross track. We looked up and was like, wait a minute, where's Jeff? He's been gone a long time. And then all of a sudden you come in the door. God, what? Well, okay, yeah, you were working, so you were with us. I'm trying to think what the heck we were doing.
They came up to go out to the bars, and then if I remember right, they like called you, like, hey, we're out at the bars. You should come out and hang with us. And so you all went drinking.
It wasn't just the bar crawl. Because I
don't know if you did a bar crawl or if they just hit one bar.
Well, I know. Oh, now thinking back, I know we went to Copperfield for sure, and then maybe Ida went to 3. Remember, 3 was still.
Yeah.
We might have went there. I don't think we hit a lot, but enough place. Might have ended up even. Oh, like the Dome or something. Then we ended up at Okay, so Maxwell some show. I don't know. Some of those nights just run together because did a lot. Did a lot in those 4 years. Now that I think about it. Swan would get in here. We could talk about not Rob Zombie's Godsmack, because that's when he called his girlfriend on the phone. We were passing the phone around.
No, that was on our way to the strip club.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's yes. See, I'm even up those. You're right. Yeah, you're right. That was that time. Yeah, Godsmack.
That was on our way to the strip club.
Funny. The hilarious part about that is I was joking with him. It's like, oh yeah, we'll get there, and then they'll be like doing Husker highlights, and you'll just have your face glued to the TV. And that's what happened. They had Husker highlights on, so he leaves the slobber table and goes over and sits and watches.
No, he was sitting at the slobber table with us and just watching, and then like I think it was you that was like taking ones and putting them in front of him.
Yeah, I was putting them in front of him.
So the girl would intentionally get in front of his face, and he'd be like,
Well, and that's the thing. The highlights were like was like Husker football from like the 70s. You know?
No, it was like it was 10 years old, but it
Okay,
was
10
like
year.
from
Well, whatever. It
93.
was old highlights, and I'm like,
Yeah, it was. It
like,
was.
don't
It
you?
was a lot.
You know, with the way he was, it's like, don't you have this on tape? You know, you can watch this anytime. Oh God, yeah. Okay, yeah. That you're right. That's when. Yeah, that's when he called his girl.
I don't know
I
if
don't know if
he
you want to
called
call it
her or
girlfriend, that gal
she
from
called it.
Ravenna.
She called him, and he didn't want to talk.
Yeah.
And
Well, she was annoying.
it's like,
Was
let's see
annoyed
if
as
she recognizes who she's talking to.
yeah. Well, I just remember she. For some reason, he always found the weirdest ball, and he found them in chat rooms. That's the kicker. You know, I remember going in chat rooms, but God, I never talked to anybody that was anywhere remotely local to
Oh
us.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
uh, yeah, yeah. All I remember, she was. I can remember a night going as I was in the car. I had to tag along. So when he had his Camaro, that was a waste of a drive. Again, couldn't go. Yeah, she was just well. She's one of those that like sounds like she would be like in with the. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think we left, and if I'd have gotten there so early, like, and couldn't go, so we ended up back in Kearney, and might have been the correct night. And we ended up at Lear Jets or something. I think I don't. That's yeah. Say that's. I just remember all the way there, parked out, or came out, and like just talked at the window or something. And I'm like, John, I thought you had this all worked. Like, I thought you had it worked out. Like, that's the reason you're coming up here. Like, you guys gonna go out, or I don't know what we were gonna do, but I was just along for the ride. But it turned out it's like he didn't even know what we were gonna do. You know? I mean, thank God gas was only like $1.10 at the time. It wasn't, you know, because I mean, he wasted a half a tank of gas to drive up there and talk for like 20 minutes. Like I said, yeah, I think we ended up ended up. So the night wasn't all wait. Of course, then there was the it to. That was another one. Yeah, really need to have Swan on here. Yeah, then there was the other gal that she was in Kansas. Drove down there. It was like after midnight, and he's like throwing rocks at her window to wake her up, and it's like, okay, that was a thing, and then we ended up. Oh no, that was Jeff, and yeah, and then that's when. Oh, what was the ended up staying the night at Jeff. Ended up driving all over rural Kansas. Oh yeah, that's right, because the transmission fix that in the garage. Imagine them take the car. Yeah, because we weren't taking mine because I know why we. My card was loud and we were. Oh. Yeah, because we wanted to drive around town and through these towns and stuff in my. Why we didn't take my car. Yeah, that's a story. Because it was so late, there was no cars on the. I don't know, 100 mile an hour, 83. Like he just put it to the floor. It just whatever. The speedometer only went to 85, so I don't know how fast but it was buried. Then
Yeah.
then Derek was driving, and we ended up coming up the back way, up and then ended up the other side of the lake. Minimum maintenance. Yeah, I mean that was another night that just drove. We didn't really have anywhere to go. We just drove. Went to Norton. We went to clear over to Agra. No, she lived in Agra, but had to go through. Yeah, this was the like after midnight. And he was like, "It's like, oh, I know this girl in Agra. Like, let's go see her." It's like it's like 1:30 in the morning. It's like this trailer house or whatever. He's like, it's this window. He starts throwing rock. Starts throwing rocks at the window or pebbles or whatever. Wake her up. And like it's me, John. Like who? Like I mean yeah, one of those things like 10 minutes and like, okay, well that was interesting. So what do we do now?
I remember, like, because I was always up here in Holdridge when I drove around, and we'd drive around to like 12:30, maybe at the most 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then by that time we were just done. We'd been driving around, I don't know. I don't know what time we'd start, 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Drive around for hours, wasting gas, listening to music, going around town, and then so we were always back by 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then we'd always sit and watch. Well, we talked about this a little bit. We'd sit and watch MTV for an hour or two.
Yeah, watch
and then
Jackass.
Go to bed.
Jackass.
No, it was before then. It was we would watch Beavis and Butthead, and for some reason, no matter when, either MTV would just play the same videos over the same times because it didn't matter what day it was, but like, or when I say day, like what the date was or anything, but they'd always play like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge,
Yeah.
Aerosmith's like Crying or
Crazy.
Or Crazy or those kind of stuff, and we always seem to manage to watch those videos over and over and over again. And then right after that was either Beavis and Butthead or Daria or whatever other kind of show that they had on at that point in time.
I could kind of remember. Of course, this is more in the summer, and this a lot of time on, and but also with Luke Hellman, because he Arnie and Central, they'd be down. Give them. We would then go on at aim. I say where. Funny, we'd run around, drive around, pick them up, drive them around, and take them back. They go over to one gal's house, and we would, like you said, sit down and watch. And I can remember distinctly watching. So this was Jackass must just have been starting.
Before you mow anymore, we need to fill up these with gas.
Oh yeah. Now, and maybe we should call it a soon. But anyway, speaking of watching MTV, I can remember we'd end up after cruising, hanging out downtown, go over to the one gal's house, basement, and on MTV and watch. Happen to be Jackass, or like rerun or another like single. I can remember watching that. Luke, he'd head to Elwood, not Elwood, Elm Creek. And then me have to. Yeah, that's that's other than with you. That's the other times I remember distinctly watching with other people. MTV.
You need to go the other direction.
Do I gotta go up to the shop?
Yep.
Oh.
That's what it feels like.
Oh, well, I was thinking we had like fuel barrels or something.
No.
To see at home, we didn't have MTV. I watch it.
We probably did, but we never watched it. Like I don't think I ever got the chance to watch it at my house.
Where I watched a lot of things. Airs. Or if I was at a friend's house in Alma, because they got it, because cable got it. They had it.
Yeah.
Or like again, remember over in Oxford, there we Oxford. Or or hang out and then watch.
Yeah.
Wasn't college till I had a steady diet. Had access broadly. I come to get a lot of just driving around. I guess that's all. I guess it's because there wasn't much else. Where do I get gas?
On the other side of the building, over here.
Oh. Oh, there it is. I guess park them here, park them back there.
I was gonna take them back to where we were mowing and then park them.
Okay. Yeah, because it's 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, I knew buying more ground, it was gonna be more for. It was gonna be more to just do, but that's also like this should make us
Some money, and then yeah, then we can.
grapes. Yeah, because I was just thinking we probably need things doubled up because like the grape the harvester itself is like 380. Uh, just one machine, and we also need we're gonna also need different tractors for it, and
Yeah.
um,
Well, like I've messed with it a little bit.
yeah.
I kind of know. Kind of know.
Well, tomorrow I'm on a new map, and I've got some more new equipment, like old vintage type equipment like this. I'm gonna use on it, and then but there's a. It actually might be a map that you guys might be interested in because it's got like an old junked farm and stuff. So if you guys come in tomorrow, let me know and I'll show
Okay.
you the area real quick. Oh yeah, well yeah, okay. I was just gonna leave it on this edge, but
Oh.
whatever.
Yeah. Well, here I know. Leave it.
Yeah,
Finish this.
we still got the small area on the other side unless we're not
Oh
gonna
yeah.
do that one.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, but we'll probably get both of those done, and then we got to winter everything.
That always.
Yeah.